2 sniffs in the first hour and then 1 sniff every hour after that.
Do you want to snip?
Yeah, sure.
I think it says something blue. I don't know.
So you have a couple of big
WD,
sniffs early, and then I can drive later. That's all I have.
Briny deep.
Tim's his own entertainment for the night.
Tim's over there just...
A couple of big sniffs early.
All right. Well, while Tim enjoys himself over there in the corner, I've been told that I can no longer do segues anymore. Mm-hmm. I've been banned from them.
No, you haven't been banned.
Yes, no, banned.
We're just advised. You've been advised that they're bad for your health.
I'm at schoolies again. I don't know if I want to be there.
So, as such, we're gonna begin this episode of Reflex Save. And does anyone remember what happened last week?
We saw a man get brutally executed.
That is what happened at the end of the session last week.
Leaves an impression.
Yeah. So you had made your way after spending a couple of days in Goodmead. Everyone had a bit of
low.
Huh?
Laying low in Goodmead.
Yeah, everyone was
low.
trying to lay low, but I feel like you guys spectacularly failed at that.
You can only get so low when you're a couple of not low-key bros.
You almost went too low, like 6 feet below.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's low.
My chest went too low.
His chest went too low, but his
Into my body.
Your chest cavity appears to have been inverted.
Fortunately, you guys were able to survive the small town of Goodmead and make your way to the big city of Easthaven.
Against all odds.
This is only something that's been built up for the past, 10 episodes?
Probably longer.
Probably
need
longer.
books.
You found, immediately entering the city, signs to say watch thy purse, as is pickpocketing in the city here is legal. And I think someone actually got pickpocketed as well.
Maybe.
On the way in.
Maybe they did. Who can say?
Additionally, on the way in, you did witness the execution of a red wizard who was set alight to a gathered crowd that seemed to be not cheering his death, but they didn't seem unhappy that he was going, I'll tell you that.
I mean, if the paper was true, he was, in fact, a necromancer.
Could be.
If the
Maybe
paper,
not.
the paper?
The paper, yeah. I don't know
miss
who's
that?
printing newspapers here in
Easthaven
Easthaven.
Gazette.
Sorry, the town crier.
Yeah.
Oh.
And so we left our episode there with you guys in front of the pyre that was a man. And I now want to find out... Actually, before we jump in, I do have another thing to read to you, as I have been doing for the last couple of weeks.
He rubbed his hands. He shuffled them.
He's excited.
Big Kev over there.
This one's a bit of a short one, so...
That's a deep cut for non-Australian listeners.
True, yeah.
We see snow falling lightly as we open to a snowy forest scene. Sometime in the perpetual evening. We begin to slowly move forward through the dense trees until eventually we start hearing the distinct sound of footsteps crunching on fresh snow. We start to see some figures on 4 legs winding their way through the trees, and the soft bleating of goats and sheep can be heard alongside heavy footsteps from a cave bear, which seem to be keeping them in track. We get to the head of the pack and reveal that it's being led by a Verbeeg. Wrapped in hides and fur, she struggles as she carries a heavy load. Her mate, her lover, dead weight draped across her shoulders. We see her stumble, driven to one knee in exhaustion from a full day and night's worth of travel. She leans forward and lets the body slide off of her, rolling face up into the falling snow. She places her head over his chest and begins to cry into the night. Eventually, she wipes the tears from her eyes, and with her giant hands she begins to dig. Time passes, and we now see the Verbeeg is sitting on a small boulder, and next to her is freshly packed dirt flanked by snow, and a small set of stone cairns are all that would be marked for this burial site. We hear scraping sound as she's taken a dagger and seems to be running it along a long length of wood, shaving off long curls. Scrape, scrape, scrape. The Verbeeg seems to barely look at her work as she stares off into the nearby wood, now starting to filter the first rays of perpetual dawn, which fall across her face set in grim determination. And we fade to black.
Alright, I get it. We're the bad guys.
She feel a bit bad, actually.
Yeah, I get it. It's a rival woodworker, okay? I get it. She's nothing like Sveta. Don't worry about it.
She wasn't even paying attention.
First rule of whittling, watch what you whittle. Oh, my God.
Watch it while you
That's
whittle.
how you end up with cuts.
It's right.
So, you've arrived in Easthaven. There's a few things I think you guys wanted to do here, but I'm curious as to what you want to do first. Do you want to split up? Do you want to stay as a party? What do you want to do?
Under no circumstances are we going to be splitting up.
All right, there's one
Go to the
vote.
bookstore.
There's one
See you,
lame
mate. Go to the
vote.
pub.
What? Every time.
I'm going to the pub.
That was a joke. It's not my best, but I'm working on it.
Excuse me, town guards. What are the town guards called in like a place like this?
I usually call them the City Watch.
The militia?
Militia is is also accurate too, but I think for a big town I always call them the Town Watch.
Excuse me, Captain.
A random person turns around and says, "What are you talking about?"
Not you.
Oh,
The town. I'm addressing the town guards who burnt the wizard. Are they still there?
the crowd has started to dissipate. Most of it was townsfolk, with a town crier sort of like the watch which is around just seems to sort of be just in the head of an alleyway. You can see a couple of them just casually leaning against and maybe having a cigarette, talking to one another.
I'll approach.
Okay.
Wow, what did that guy do?
One of them looks up at you. Hey, yeah? Who are you?
Just an adventurer. Just passing through. Is this a common thing that you guys do? Just burn people in the street? Or one-off?
Criminals get burnt.
Ah, good call. What was his crime?
Didn't you hear?
Nope.
Hey, looks like we got a deaf one as well as a stupid one. They start giggling chuckling to each other.
Cool. Can I have a cigarette?
Oh, I have one down to my last one as he pulls out a new one from a fresh pack and starts to light it up.
That's cool, guys. I don't smoke anyway. I don't know why I said that.
He grins at you.
So you guys, don't like mages around here? Don't like magic?
No, we just don't like criminals. People who do murder, Desecrate the dead.
Cool. I'll walk away. I was trying to look at my stuff to see if there's anything I can do there, but no.
You hear like a little stifled laughter from behind you as you turn away. One of them goes, "Yeah, you walk away."
What was that all about?
Just kind of getting a read for the law around here. They seem like assholes. So maybe we should stick together and keep to ourselves.
In my travels, I've found that towns that burn people at the stake never really are the savoury types, so perhaps best.
Well, where should we head first? I know you want to head to the library.
Well, other
Yes.
than the library, we have the ferry, which we need to investigate.
Yes.
We need to keep our ears out for any information about some Durga. And one of the
that the missing
people who
dude?
disappeared was here.
What were we looking about the ferry? I'm just updating my notes.
The Durga's brother was waiting for an exchange to happen there.
At the ferry.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And in
also-
addition to that, the ferry has mysteriously not been running.
Yeah, there was some dispute over whether it should be stopped or whether it should be allowed to keep running from the
Understood.
speakers.
My companions are very good at taking notes. I could learn something.
I vote not to split up, please.
I'm with you, Sveta. That seems like a terrible idea. These people are out for blood.
Are the people all that bloodthirsty? I didn't get that impression.
They didn't seem awfully against what was happening in front of them. In fact, I believe that they seemed rather pleased to watch a man burn to death.
Certainly this town is giving you a bit of a cold feeling.
I get it.
You should. It's a very direct joke.
I'm like, is he? Do I laugh? Is it rude?
No, let it hang in silence instead.
Hang your joke in shame.
Never.
Well, I mean, is there anything that's particularly more pressing?
I'd say the Duragar is probably the most pressing concern.
Well, I mean, for it. What do you two? What do you think? Sveta Woden.
Well, the library will be there for a while. We don't even know if the brother's still there.
Very true. As much as it pains me to admit, the library will probably still be open in 10 minutes. That's another joke, Sveta. I'm sorry.
That's a good one.
Maybe I need to find a joke book at the library.
Maybe you should smile when you tell your jokes.
Like
Close enough.
Like that?
I don't like it when he shows his teeth.
Ooh, that was creepy.
Stop.
Looking around, are there a lot of different, I guess, races in Easthaven? Like, is everyone a human? Are there like dwarves and things walking around?
Just doing a casual look of where you are, primarily human.
Okay, so it would be pretty easy to spot some Duragar.
Yeah, I mean, you can see a guy there. Dwarves are not necessarily uncommon. Like, you might just catch one or two, but certainly they are not the norm. The humans are definitely going to be primary population here.
Sorry,
I'll walk back over to the town guards.
Yeah, what do you want?
Actually,
Back again, are you?
Yeah, I've come through. We have some business with some Duragar. Do you know where I could find them? Or is there a lot of Duragar around here that you've seen?
He spits on the floor in front of you. You don't have any dealings with Duragar? What are you accusing us of? And he sort of looks at you down his nose.
Well, so they're shady around here.
Duragar are always shady. Not welcome here.
Right. Looks
Catch one, will burn it at the stake for being a Duragar. There's one of the guards behind him. They catch a chuckle as well.
Looks like your cigarette's gone out. Let me get that for you. And I'll reach in like I've got a lighter. I'll just flick it out of his mouth and walk away.
Oi, you were being a funny one just there. Maybe we should take you down to the watch house.
I've already walked off.
Say, you, wait just there. And he steps forward and grabs your shoulder.
I'm seeing this commotion. I'm going to start approaching as well. What seems to be the issue here, Captain? Is my friend giving you a hard time?
Captain? I ain't no bleeding captain.
Oh, you have an air of dignity and authority about you. You seem like a captain to me.
He looks at you. You see this sort of momentary look of confusion come across his face, and he goes, "Is this one with you?"
Sadly, yes. And I must apologise for his behaviour.
He looks at you, looks at Woden. Do you have any obvious signs of Kalemvor or anything on you?
He has a beard.
He's got a full one, so mustache and the rest. Thank you.
Okay, sorry. You should shave off everything but the moustache.
It's just a plain plain grey heavy cloak.
Okay, so you're not showing his the Kalemvor's symbol or
the
anything
symbol, the scale with the skeletal hand it dangles from a chain, but it is tucked in under his robes.
Okay, so it's not visible.
Not visible, correct.
He looks at you and goes, disrespecting the law in this city will get you locked up for a night, right?
I'm very aware, as we've just seen.
Well, that'll get you more. You keep his nose clean, all right?
Of course. I apologise.
And he lets go of Woden's shoulder, steps back to the alleyway.
That was a close one, Woden. I don't know what they were going to do with you.
Stop pissing people off.
Sorry, those guys just rubbed me the wrong way.
Oh, don't get me wrong, they rubbed me the wrong way. They rubbed me the right way.
They rubbed me right up.
These guys rubbed me.
This stop and frisk policy is ridiculous.
But I love it. They just seem itching for a fight, and if they charge you with anything, I don't even think they need to. They'll make something up, and God knows what will happen to you. I think we best try and keep our noses clean. Speaking of which, can I do a quick look around? Is anyone sort of like checking out our group, or more specifically the kobold and the shifter? Fuck, I got there.
You were about to say genocide, weren't you?
No. I'm really sorry, but
I'll give you the option.
now I'll never forget.
I'll give you the option. You can either do a perception or an insight check.
I am pretty insightful and I haven't had many chances to do it.
Insight's sort of letting you read the crowd is what I'm going to go with there.
17.
On insight? What you're getting, people seem to be gathered in small groups together. They're out and about and they're moving along, but everyone seems to be in their own little cliques, and they're talking to one another. And you do see from the general just population, people are giving carnelian second glances. People are looking at Sveta and turning away and talking really rapidly. No one's sort of doing anything that you would be like, oh, okay, it's a bit concerning right now because someone's, upset or they're yelling, but you're definitely kind of getting attention in the town.
Okay, so it's more just like they're different rather than what the hell is that?
Yeah, that's probably primarily what you're getting there.
Okay.
And definitely the town feels a little bit unfriendly right now. When I say the town, I guess the people around you.
Yes, and Sveta and Carnelian, you are getting. I'm not sure if you've noticed, but you are getting a few looks. From
Has Carnelian noticed?
I don't know. Have you?
As you were, Andy.
17 on perception. So.
I mean, you're always very aware in cities the way people look at you, and it's very difficult for you to do anything about it. You're as short as a halfling or a gnome, which you could try and pass by, but your general features make it almost impossible for people not to be able to see you as a kobold.
Yeah.
You generally just try and keep your head down and hope that people won't cause a fuss. In this case, you're used to that kind of look in people's eyes.
Sveta, I know you've been here before at least once. Are you aware if there's a smith around here? Now that Beefcliff's gone, I figure I should arm myself appropriately and get your quarterstaff back to you.
Oh, let me think back. Can I do a history check?
Yeah, you sure can.
I think it's an 8. It is an 8. No, yes, it is.
Yeah, that's.
Wait, no. It's an 8. I got 0 on history.
Nice power play.
It's fine.
Sorry.
You're still fairly local to the area. You've been to Easthaven before, and the city is a big city. It has a lot of the commodities that would come with. You think that because you still are in the sort of the outskirts of town, near where the stables are, and where the Eastway comes in, you think if you head towards the centre of town, closer to where the town hall is, there are some more businesses open, like smithies and general stores that might sell arms and armour.
Yeah. I will relay that, and probably it might be a good idea to visit that before we go to the docks, just in case a fight happens.
A fine idea.
And if anyone asks about me, I have an excellent cover story.
Should we hear it first so we can go with it?
I was cursed by a witch.
That's cool.
That's awful. What's the story?
Tell me more.
And I just bare my teeth again.
Stop, put them away, I feel threatened.
Feels like you're teaching Horatio how to This is how we smile.
This is how we smile.
Sveta, if you stay along the Eastway going into town, that's probably your most direct route in without getting lost.
Alright. If we do travel, I'll grab the back of someone's coat so I don't lose them. So whoever's in front. And I'll shoot Carnelian like a small child.
Please, my child's also been cursed by a witch.
My son.
My baby boy.
Please help him.
Please don't patronise me.
You are
I am
so
a
small.
full-grown kobold, thank you.
Probably older than Sveta. How old are you?
Oh, yeah, by the way. How old is everyone?
Are you a teenager?
Carnelian's 19.
Oh, no, you're
But,
definitely
matures, kobolds reach maturity at, 8. So.
True.
They have short lifespans.
They actually don't.
They have short lifespans because of
They
adventurers.
have short average lifespans.
The life expectancy is
Yeah,
Yeah.
they could live to be like 120. It's just usually,
No, usually
sans 100 years.
That's a long adulthood. You're like an adult at 8, and they can live
Well,
to over 100.
they die. They have a tendency to be, stabbed by.
So it's more
people.
like a natural response to
Yeah.
quickly grow up, because you're probably going to be
But
killed.
no, they are descended from dragons, so they do retain some of that longevity.
And so Carnelian is detailing the general trials and tribulations of Kobold
That's
as you
fascinating.
as
My
you
son.
do move along the eastway and head towards the central town city. You can see now that there is sort of like it's now starting to break off. You've probably reached the end of the eastway as it is. It sort of reaches its natural end towards the center of the city and then breaks off into several other major roads. If you turn north, you'll eventually hit the ferry. You know that if you keep going in deeper, around a few blocks, you'll get into the town hall. And all around where you are, there are a couple of merchant stalls and things like that. Anything from food to knucklehead trout to smiths, adventuring gear, knucklehead trout salesman, fishing salesman, knucklehead trout salesman.
Do we see a particularly large smokestack anywhere that might signify that there's a smithy?
Yeah, you can see one. It's just around where you are now.
Alright.
Let's
We'll go
go.
in.
All right. You approach a fairly busy smithy that has 3 or 4 blacksmiths that are working together, all on different stages of horseshoes, weapons, armors, things like that. And they just ting, ting, ting.
We'll walk in. Well, Sweater, you weren't wrong.
Not again.
These gentlemen do make very fine gear. It looks great.
Oh, they're very fine-looking men. Are they? Are they fine-looking men?
You see
I need to know.
Callum, are they? Tell us about the men.
you see a slightly short, but not dwarven short, stocky-looking man with a full beard and long hair tied back behind him, stand up with his leather apron.
Pass. Next one.
Whoa, was it the hair?
Whoa.
Come on.
He
It's
goes,
the long hair. I
Whoa.
can't do long hair.
Whoa.
and he goes back to his work. Ting, ting.
Wait, don't tell Woden. Oh no.
The next man you see is a very tall, lanky man with one beefy arm, hammering away and a sword. He is bald on the top of his head, but he has long hair at the very back, which is tied into a pony. He looks up and goes, but, and then,
These are our town's 3 most eligible bachelors.
And they're all the Smiths.
The next person you walk up to is a halfling who is working on a very, very tiny forge. Like, it's a tiny, he's like, ting, ting, ting. He has wavy, brown curls that flow from side to side as he shakes his head, the sweat dripping off his face.
Is this blacksmith just right?
I don't know.
No. This place is a workplace health and safety hazard. No one has their hair up.
What do you expect? It's Australia's next top Smith.
We'll
Real
be quick.
Smiths of Easthaven.
Real Smiths of this.
Someone better call the fire brigade.
Mental gentlemen.
Did he just call me mental?
Do you have hammers?
They all have hammers. They're like using them
Are
to.
you selling hammers?
So like all like the 3 people you've already walked past, they look at each other like, she's talking to us. She seems to just walk straight past. I think he's talking to you. I'm not really sure. And they're just sort of a bit confused. Yes, we have weapons. Is the first man that you walk past?
Well, then take it from here. They make me nervous.
Is there are they all kind of mounted on something? Are they hanging from some stuff on the wall? Like,
Oh, the hammers.
Oh, Jesus. They only let me down the hammer things.
All 3 of them are just stacked on top of one another to make a mega
how many
blacksmith.
Smiths you got back there?
The first man that you walk past sort of like dusts off his hands and says, "Oh, you're in the market for a weapon, yes?"
Yes, I heard you're the finest Smiths in Easthaven, so I've come to the right place, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who said that? Well, advertising must be doing wonders.
Sveta, my sister here, said that. Sorry,
Sveta.
forgive me. This is.
Oh, I'm sorry. She doesn't like the look of us. She keeps downcasting her eyes at my... let me just... And he just lets his hair out. Maybe this will work. And he shakes it from side to side.
Oh, you catch them on fire. Put it away.
No, it's all right. It's all wet from sweat.
That's fantastic hair you have there. I'll let mine out as well.
Oh, my
God. Punch it all together.
It immediately gets caught in something and I get tangled.
You get him some sticks so he can do it up in a bun.
I've got sticks.
While this is happening, I'll approach as well and say, "Greetings. My name is Horatio. I come from I represent the Black Iron Blades. They send their regards."
He laughs a little bit. No, you're from the Black Iron Blades, you say?
Well, we did some work for them.
I hope your work isn't as good as theirs. They sort of laugh to one another.
Oh. Do they have something of a reputation here in Easthaven?
They have a reputation sort of everywhere. Look, trust me, whatever we make is definitely going to be better than what they produce. What are you in the market for?
I'm not in the market for anything, but my good friend Woden is.
What do you have?
Well, we've got flails, we've got swords of all different lengths and shapes. Ooh. We've got halberds and glaives. If you're in the market to deal some damage, we've got something here for you. Would you like a lance? And he pulls down a lance from the top.
You
it's
looking
the
to
only
protect
one there.
yourself or deal some damage?
I was trying not to say that specifically. He takes a lance off one of the racks. Could you use a lance?
A lance? Maybe not a lance.
Maybe if you had a horse.
We'll never sell this thing. He puts it back up.
Halberd. Maybe a glaive could be cool. Does Sylvanus still like bodies if their heads are smashed in?
He's not very picky.
Okay, maybe a flail could be fun.
Maybe he is being picky.
Sorry, Horatio.
I'll just look away.
Can I recommend a bardiche?
Is that a pastry? I prefer a croissant myself. I'm not quite sure what that is, Carnelian.
It's a polearm. You hit people with it.
Ah, right. That could be cool as well, actually. How much for the bardiche?
I'm going to assume that because it doesn't actually have it. Is there a...
I actually don't know what the...
You just wanted to say the word bardiche.
I love the word bardiche.
Looking at the list of weapons, I'm like, there's no fucking bardiche on here.
They used to be a weapon in D&D. In the player's handbook, there was the bardiche. It's just not in 5th edition, and I think because it's forever upset.
It's basically an axe on a stick.
It's a halberd.
Yeah.
With a longer pole, yeah.
Yeah, I mean... I would let you have one. It'd just be the same as it'd be mechanically the same as a halberd.
What about a maul?
A maul.
It's like a hammer, but with 2 hands.
But plus.
Which means you can't have a shield if you have one. But that's the same as a halberd or anything like that too.
Halberds 2 hands only?
Yep. Reach heavy 2-handed.
Oh, okay. I just figured that most polearms were versatile.
Most polearms are actually heavy and 2-handed.
Huh.
Forget everything you know about conventional hammers. Just consider them all.
Use a spear then.
What do you feel? What makes your hand excited to go to when you're in a fight?
I'm thinking maybe either a halberd or a flail.
Alright, we got one of each. And he pulls down a halberd.
Actually, which one's a glaive? What's a glaive and what's a...
A glaive is similar to a halberd in that it's a heavy 2-handed polearm, so it's got reach. But the difference is a halberd's slashing, and a glaive is piercing, I think.
The glaive itself has the blade on the end as well, I think.
They're both slashing, heavy, reach 2-handed weapons. There is no difference between the two of them.
What was
do I want to... versatile.
Who was?
Oh, it was a Warhammer, wasn't it?
Warhammer, yeah.
They are the
Warhammer's a versatile, yeah.
They are the same cost, the same weight, the same damage die, and the same attributes.
There's no difference between the two of them, basically.
Then why did they take out the bardiche?
Don't even
That's an excellent
Not
question.
Not the bardiche!
Hashtag bring back the bardiche.
Or a morning star.
Ask for a lucerne.
What about a quinoa? Do you have any quinoas?
I think that might be an exotic weapon.
Ask for a gnomish war pick.
You can't use it, but it's nice to look at.
You'll hurt yourself before you hurt the enemy.
No, there is actually a war pick here.
Yeah, there's not a gnomish ones. Those
That's
ones are
true.
ridiculous.
Well, how much are we looking at for a standard, let's say, halberd?
Well, materials are hard to get by.
Oh, not again.
Pretty much everything in the 10 towns is expensive, but, look like a nice fellow. How about 30 gold pieces for halberd?
Oh, shit. Just let me come back here when I have some money.
Ask for a discount.
Can I have a discount?
Geez, you're driving a hard bargain. What would you like for it?
Haggling, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, do you need anything done? I mean, the Black Iron Blades had plenty of work for us. They looked very busy.
Yeah,
So, lots of business over there in Bryn Shander, so they had some stuff that we could do in exchange for payment or discounts, so...
Got a gem worth 50 gold pieces.
that's true.
Maybe if we hit it just right, we can break off a piece.
I don't like the odds. Maybe we should look for I don't know, but nobody else needs a weapon.
I've got the quarterstaff. It's not critical.
I mean,
Maybe we'll come back another time.
yeah, I mean, you know that most places you're going to buy from are going to be a little bit more expensive than it normally would. So unless you find a weapon, or unless you can try and convince them for a discount and do a persuasion check if you wanted to. But you'd have to
that's
offer
okay.
a price.
It's all right. Even if it's even if he gives me half price, I still can't afford it.
Okay.
So,
Well, he looks a little bit dejected. He's like, well, if you change your mind, come back anytime.
if you change your prices, I will.
We cannot make them that cheap. All right, boys, put the lance back. Aww.
What was
your
Beef
hero.
Cliff originally? Is it a Warhammer?
Warhammer, yeah.
Why don't you? I mean, it's probably be still a bit out of your price range, but
That's all right. Sveta's kindly given me a quarterstaff that I'm happy to use for now. I'm sorry if I can hold on to it for a bit longer, Sveta.
You can always hold on to it. You can skewer people with it.
Just as we're leaving, I'll say, how short were you? Perhaps I could assist.
If it was half price, I was 7 gold short.
Oh, I could. Well, if it was half price, I could cover half of that. Put it that way.
Well, that's still a hefty discount to ask for.
Well, just
And I have no
roll.
reason he should give me a discount.
You just have to roll really high.
That's true. That's
If,
true.
Yep.
if Warden ties a dagger onto the end of the staff,
Yeah.
can it turn into a spear?
It will become an improvised weapon.
Okay, never mind.
time to get that tavern brawler feat.
Well, shall we go to the ferries then?
Yeah, let's check it out. Check out the docks.
All right. So do you know that if you head north from here, you'll eventually run into the piers, which stretch along the lake. There's quite a few ferries. There's quite a few docks, I should say.
On the map, there's heaps.
Yep.
But which one is the ferry?
Which one looks the most docky?
Can I cast a spell?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to stop you.
I want to cast, and thank goodness they made it through customs, but Dogcliff. I want to cast Speak with Animals and ask Dogcliff to smell out a Duragar.
Okay.
If there's any
Yeah,
scents
nice.
around.
Do you happen to have anything with a Duragar scent on it?
The shot.
They had the Shardlin, yeah.
Yeah, Charlotte.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you're going to cast it just as an action, or are you going to spend 10 minutes to make it a ritual?
We'll stand around you if you want a ritual.
I'll cast it as a ritual. I'll tell
Duck
everyone.
Down,
Everyone
duck down a side
T-pose.
alley or something.
Yeah. Come.
Everyone T-poses around you for protection.
Thank you. It's very intimidating.
Not when Cornelia does it.
I have an idea. But we'll need Dovecliff.
Well, I mean, you're the one that can speak to him, so if he consents, then go for it.
Just might make things a little bit easier. And I'll cast the ritual. And I'll turn my snout into a dog's snout. And I'll bend down to Dogcliff. Say, the Dogcliff.
Oh, that's me. I'm reading weapon description.
Sorry.
It's been a while since I've heard from
I wasn't
Dogcliff.
ready.
I wasn't prepared to bring out
Is
Dogcliff.
anybody ready?
Well, Dogcliff wasn't ready. He was sniffing the environment. He didn't realize you'd.
I bat his
Change.
tail a little bit.
Ah.
Dogcliff.
Ah, yes.
It's been a while.
It has. What have you been up to? I know that was a joke. I've been here the whole time.
I'm finding more sausages for you.
Oh my goodness! You remembered.
I have this pretty stone.
That is good.
Can you have a sniff and see if you can trace the scent of whatever's on this stone? It might smell like a purple man.
You want me to smell the purple man? All right. Let me see.
Dogcliff, roll a perception check with advantage, I suppose, because this would be a scent.
Yeah.
You can use the stat block that's in that I've handy made for Otto and Dogcliff. Remember?
Is it character sheet?
Boom.
Otto and Dogcliff.
It's a beautiful
With
scent.
advantage.
With advantage?
Yeah.
All right, I'll roll.
Because it's a scent.
Or a dog.
That was terrible, so I used my lucky one. Perception plus 3. That is a 14.
14.
It's not bad.
Okay. What I'll say is with a 14, so you're in this sort of alleyway, you're still in the sort of centre of town, and Dogcliff starts sniffing the Chardonnay, and then his nose sniffs up the air, and then he starts taking off, not at he doesn't sprint away, so you can follow him still, but he starts taking off towards the docks. Eventually you come out to this long line of sequential docks that stretch out into the lake, or Lac du Nishar. Here you can see pretty much every boat is on a dock somewhere. Looking at the lake, as soon as you walk out, you can see the water is, for the most part, frozen over. Dogcliff stops at the intersection, looks up and down, and then looks towards the southern docks. Dogcliff can sense something's coming from that direction, but can't pinpoint it with that roll.
Can I get him to re-sniff it like they do with drug dogs to reassess the scent?
I feel like no, because otherwise you just be constantly retrying until you got a higher result.
That's fair.
I think this is sort of encompassing that result encompasses this entire part.
Yep. Do you sense a purple man?
I do. There's a purple man somewhere. I can't pinpoint him, though. The scent on the thing that you showed me was very, very weak. I barely picked up a scent.
Which way is stronger than the other way? Left or right?
I don't know what those things are.
So this,
Point
if I'm
over this way here.
using my left hand and waving it in the direction of the left side of the docks, and then the other.
Left side as you see them, on this map. Yes.
Dogcliff's left.
What orientation is the dog? I'm going to say what Dogcliff can point you towards is if you came out roughly around, say, the middle set of docks here, it would be down as this map is left of you. So those lower docks, the 4,
in more
5?
like a southerly
sort of
direction.
southwest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
In that area, exactly where someone pinged.
Bing!
All right.
In this area.
I'm going to give Dogcliff a good scratch behind the ears.
His back leg goes a little bit.
We have to get the extra big sausages for him. Stop! We have to get Krankskis.
Krankskis.
Oh, I love a Kransky.
I love a Krankski.
Get some blocklist.
Let's get Crank.
Well, we'll find the purple man, and then we can all have sausages afterwards.
Yes, of course.
Never thought you'd say that sentence, did you?
It was on my list of things never to say, but here we are.
I guess I'll lead the way with Dogcliff towards the...
So you effectively have 5 different piers to check out.
Well, I say we split up. Take a pier each.
No, absolutely not. Under no circumstances.
Wait, who takes the 5th one?
Dogcliff.
Dogcliff Notto?
Yeah, Dogcliff and Otto. They're basically a person.
How do you want to approach this?
Well, so we're down at the docks. There seems to be one dock that's far longer.
And
I guess they won't necessarily be on the docks, will they?
Which dock appears to be the most heavily used?
That sounds like it'd be a survival check.
I'd also like to make... I'd like to see if there's anyone standing around looking shifty or uncomfortable.
That sounds like a perception check.
Anything shady. You got it.
Anyone else want to do
I
anything?
would like to assist Carnelian.
Okay. You sure can.
Not my best effort.
Carnelian, how's your survival?
10 on Percept.
Pretty sure it's not as good as yours, but it is a +3.
I mean, you can still roll. I mean, it was your idea, so you should probably roll it.
I will relish the assistance. That is a 13.
Okay. So first, the perception that was a 10, was it, for Horatio?
Yep.
The only thing you notice is that the dock seemed pretty well, not deserted, but nearly as much. A few people are moving around. You can see them checking boats, like checking rigging, obviously people that own the boats. But you would think that a city this size with a dock this size should be bustling. Like, this should be the main focus of the town, just about. And knowing what you know about how a lot of towns get their food, fishing on the lake would have to be one of the primary sources. So for it to be this quiet is a little bit concerning or just unusual.
Is the water frozen?
Yeah, everything that you can see, at least out as far as you can see, looks to be frozen or frozen over enough that it would be difficult for boats to progress. In fact, what you can see if you look out, you can see some people walking out on the lake. And it looks like they might have broken through the ice and they're fishing, just standing around. But there's not many. For the survival check, I'm going to say you take about an hour just to investigate, because they're a bit apart. The two most heavily used docks is the first one, the long one, and the short one here. Mm-hmm. These two. Mm-hmm. The three in the middle seem to potentially be more relatively less used, and they look like they have smaller boats, so maybe fishing boats.
This is a hunch, but I'm thinking, are there any boats attached to the docks, like stationary ones?
Pretty much all of them.
But, they'd be
iced in.
Ooh,
So,
boats. That'd be really
they could
damaging.
be either holed up in a boat somewhere, or maybe there's like a dark alley next to one of these buildings across from where we are. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The Duragar generally not like the water, or I suppose it's frozen.
They don't like sunlight.
If you guys are willing to give me 10 minutes, I have the ability to detect magic.
That's not fair.
Oh, that sounds like, yeah.
They are spellcasters. That's not a bad idea.
Perhaps we could find something of magical origin, and we could do a bit of a sweep past all the boats, maybe the vicinity.
Okay.
Sorry, you go.
Sorry, are these wooden boats?
Yes.
Okay, alright, that's all.
Yeah, that ice is going to murder these boats when it thaws. Mm-hmm. If it thaws.
While Horatio is performing his ritual, I'm gonna maybe see if there's anyone around and ask them if they know of any Duragar around this area.
Okay. Roll a investigation check while the rest of you T-pose around in a protective fashion, Horatio. Because you got 10 minutes, so...
Yep.
11?
You approach a few different people just on the short docks, because that's the closest where you guys are right now.
Yeah.
And that's where the closest boats are, because the rest of them are sort of further out. Everyone you talk to just doesn't seem to either know what you're talking about, or they just shake their head at the thought of Duragar, if they know what they are at all.
Okay. I'll pass that on to the T-posers.
The T-pose finishes, and you detect magic. It's a 60-foot range, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
60?
Yep.
Damn.
It's 30.
Might be 30.
It's 30, yeah. It's 30, but it's like what's the word?
Radius?
Radius, it's a sphere, yeah.
Yeah, see, it's interesting. Now we get into a little bit of nuance about how I rule Detect Magic as a DM, because it's fairly standard. And I'm going to say for thinking about it in this fashion, you detect faint traces of magic. Not auras of items or individuals, but traces like that have long since lingered on the very longest dock.
It appears that there's some kind of lingering magic on the northernmost dock.
Does it seem to be stronger towards the far end or in closer to the shore?
If I step out...
the way I'm going to rule this is you won't be able to tell, because usually what detect magic's used is to detect something within range, and I'm sort of...
Are there any structures on the docks, or are they all open?
All boats, except at the very end of see how this dock sort of comes off at a left angle? There is a small, looks like a square structure at that junction.
So, I was walking down docks and pinging as I went.
Yeah.
So it's all just...
It's the same, yeah.
Even what about that structure at the end?
No, it's all the same.
Okay. No, this whole dock's just got the same lingering sort of magic, but it's impossible to pinpoint exactly where it was on the dock.
Are you guys heading down this dock?
Yep.
Yeah.
Once you start approaching the structure at the end of the dock, it is very clearly some kind of booth that someone would normally sit at. And you can see a sign there that says Easthaven Ferry, and then closed underneath it.
Hello? Anyone in there?
I mean, I don't think the ferry's moving. It looks down at the ice, but just underneath
It still looks fairly thickly packed at the end of the dock here.
Anyone else on the dock at this stage?
You take a look around. Perception checks?
Perception.
19.
19 as well.
Oh, nice.
15.
Natural 20. Ladies and gentlemen.
He's done it.
It is empty at this end of the dock. In fact, it's so much so that it's sort of like, well, shouldn't someone be checking on the boat maybe? Or, some of the stuff, some of like the booth here. It's almost deserted.
Is the ferry, there?
Yes, you can see a ferry. You can see a large boat here at the end of the dock.
And we can see inside the booth, yeah?
Yes. So if you take a look in, it's just got a glass on like all sides. And it's just a pretty standard square booth. Okay. Looking in, you can see a chair where someone might sit, an empty space where a register might go. But there's no room for someone to be hiding in there.
We should look inside the ferry.
Do we want to talk to this Dorega or kill him?
We should attempt to talk, I think.
Okay.
Attempt.
I'm going to transform into a spider.
Okay.
I'll let the guys know beforehand and do a short recon mission inside of the ferry.
Okay. So you turn into a spider and approach the ferry.
Yep.
Solid spider.
Easthaven's ferry, a keel boat, is trapped in the ice at the end of the wooden dock. A small cabin is situated at the aft end of the hull.
Roll perception?
Okay.
Callan? Do it?
Did we say I could shift
sorry.
as a spider? Or is it before I turn?
You have to shift before you turn as a spider.
Okay. Alright.
Spider.
Spider.
Roll for
Is
spider.
that Oh, not quite.
What's the fucking spider's perception?
Fucking spiders.
Oh no, it's
How do
my
they
eyes. It's my bloody eyes.
Work? Yeah, but times 8.
You retain your wisdom as well.
Yeah,
You're
it's
so
pretty great.
wise.
18.
Okay.
Whoa.
What you can see, what stands out to you, so you go for a bit of a walk along the main deck of the keel boat.
Yep.
Nothing really stands out too much. You can see that this is obviously pretty much a workman's ferry. Like, everything seems to be pretty functional. But what stands out to you with your 18 is when you approach the cabin in the aft, it looks like it was at some point frozen over. Like, the snow and the elements had sort of would otherwise have frozen over the lock and handle, but it's been chipped away, and looks like it would be accessible.
And that looks fairly, fresh, the chipping away.
From your experience, given how frequently there have been blizzards and bad weather, you would think that this wouldn't take very long to freeze back over. Okay. So yeah, it would have to be recent.
Alright. I realize that spiders take a while to spin their web, so I won't Charlotte's web like a note to you guys. It's someone's on the boat. I'll crawl off the boat and like drift in the wind and then change back.
Okay.
It's like
Just like thud.
Oh, we are spiders in the wind. Just drifting along.
just like smack into Woden's face.
There's spider on my face.
I hit it.
Oh no, there's a spider on my face now. Boof.
It's like grabbing his face.
Yeah.
It's like someone's in the boat.
In the boat. I grab the quarterstaff.
I don't know for sure if it's the Durgan, but
I put the quarterstaff away.
act with extreme prejudice.
I pull the quarterstaff out again.
Okay. So you guys approach the boat?
Yes.
What I'm going to do, because you guys have been pretty good about trying to track this, who rolled a survival check earlier? All right. So that would be Carnelian that put his hand up for our listeners. Can you roll me another survival
Well, and
check?
everybody pointed at me as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you roll me another survival check? Not with
Assistance.
though.
Oh, yeah. 18.
18. Okay. As you approach the boat, what you notice here is there's fairly fresh snow. And you can determine about 3 distinct sets of footprints that are coming to and from the gangway that leads up into the keelboat. And in your estimation, it looks like it would be fairly fresh within the last 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
It looks to be heavy shod boots.
What do you see, Carnelian?
3 sets of shoe prints, both directions, recent, heading up and down the gangplank.
So you think there might be actually 3 people inside?
Well, we never knew how many there were going to be, and now we have, what is to my eye, 3.
Just out of curiosity, how big is this boat? I'm not quite sure.
It is a keel boat. You know what? I'm going to say this is 60 feet long, and the cabin would probably encompass about a 15-foot square of the boat, roughly.
Okay, so it's a fair size.
It is a fair-sized boat, yeah.
Cool.
It's a ferry normally, so yeah, you'd expect it to have some.
Will we perhaps get into the sneak mode as we approach, before we as collective walk onto the gangplank?
Mm-hmm. As we sneakily walk that plank.
Yes. Sneak.
Yep.
Do we have anything to assist us in the stealth, or
I can guide someone.
maybe yourself?
Yeah, well, can I guide myself?
You sure can.
Don't you have disadvantage on stealth?
That's why he should
Same as
guide
me.
himself.
Oh, do you? Jesus.
Walden, how would you rate your stealth abilities? I know you're wearing heavy armor, but how would you see yourself?
About average, but disadvantage.
Yes. Well, here you go. All the best for a successful sneak.
Oh, perfect.
And I shake your hand.
Here
and
we
give you
go.
guidance.
Okay.
I'm sneaking on, boys.
All right, so everyone give me a stealth roll.
It's a sick grind, but it wasn't enough.
Carnelian is going to preemptively cast invisibility on himself.
Oh, pfft.
And so I had a D4 for guidance. Was that bless? What was that?
Guidance. Yeah, a D4 to your thing.
And he is going to, like a boss, roll a 21.
Okay.
Boom.
Damn.
And the stealth lasts for...
Invisibility lasts for up to an hour with concentration.
Okay.
Oh, no.
No problem. So 24 from Carnelian?
21.
21, sorry. Horatio?
Less than that. Is that enough?
No, I need a
Is
specific...
that enough for you? Oh, I rolled a 7 and then I rolled a 2.
Okay, that's good. Woden?
12.
12. And Sveta?
15.
15.
What's
All
your dex again?
What's my dex again? So it's 4 was the total.
Okay. You guys get onto the boat. Would you like to head for the cabin or look for anything else on the boat?
Is there there's like a stairs or something down?
Yes. It leads to... at the aft of the boat, there's it just turns into like a cabin at the back end of that boat. So if you approach the aft, you'll find a door that leads in.
We should check the cabin.
Yeah, okay.
Shouldn't dilly-dally.
Are you using aft for both the fore and
It says
the rear?
aft. So that
Here's
would
a
be the
question.
rear.
Does
The fore
anyone
would be...
care?
No.
I
How about that?
I like boats.
You keep saying off.
Which side
no.
is starboard?
The right side.
Good job.
I'm in love with the starboard.
So you head towards the cabin.
Check the cabin. Check the cab.
Cab check.
As Sveta had pointed out, you approach where the handle and lock would be, and the ice around it's been chipped away.
Chipping away.
Ah, yes, the chipping away that you mentioned.
Chip it away, chip it away.
Yes, evidence.
Well,
Right, guys. We going in hard and fast, or we still trying to sneak?
Let's sneak in.
and if we get
And if-
spotted,
Then we go hard.
well, I was going to say if we get spotted and there's a chance of dialogue, we should take it. But if it comes to blows, then so be it.
Who wants to go first?
Me.
Wilden does.
Okay, you're very charismatic.
I silently kick the door in.
Okay.
I take my shoe off to do it with my sock.
Okay.
Slap. Thud.
But do you actually kick the door in? Sorry.
Well, no, I want to open it, but
Okay.
I guess I'm going to
With
attempt
his
stealth.
foot.
Okay, so you want to open stealthily. So roll a stealth check.
It's with Stealth Bay.
9 again.
Oh my goodness.
No,
So-
wait, yeah, 9.
You try the door, and even though it does have you can clearly see a hole for a lock, it isn't locked, and the knob easily turns and swings inwards. In this cabin, you can see there is 4 chairs and a square table. On the table, you can see what looks to be some sort of parchment or a map that's spread out over the middle of it. Small windows let in little bits of light around the cabin, so it's not difficult to see.
Do I see any movement or humanoids in there?
What you don't see any humanoids. What you can see stacked up against the back wall, but are you going to move in?
I'll be in the doorway.
What you can see along the back wall is a set of sleeping bags, and it looks like some other items in either sacks or rolled sort of rolled up in leather.
Okay. I'll gesture to the others to move forward slowly with me.
Okay,
Can I do something while he's looking inside?
Yes.
Can I turn back and look at the docks? Is anyone coming?
sure.
Can I see
Make a
anyone?
perception check.
14.
There is no one out here.
Okay.
I would like to get Carnelian to ready a spell. Specifically, he is going to be readying to cast Fairy Fire should any Durga make their presence known.
Okay.
And I'm actually going to cast this as a spell.
Okay.
I'm going to cast Speak with Animals,
Okay.
turn back towards Otto and Dogcliff, and tell them to stand guard at the entrance that we just came in on the
Okay.
boat.
So the gangway or on the entrance of the cabin?
On the gangway.
Okay.
Can Dogcliff make another sniff?
Dogcliff sniff.
I'm going to take the 14 as part of this check, and I'm going to say, though, he feels the strong scent in this area.
If anything heavier than the breeze brushes against you, bite it.
Got it.
What if I
Like a
accidentally
sausage.
Yes.
Bite at sausage level.
There might be a sausage.
The sausage brushes on me, bite it.
It might be an invisible sausage. What a concept.
What a concept. Just imagine.
Gets the dog thinking.
Sausages that don't want to be eaten? What is this world going to?
Okay.
So-
Woden's going to walk into the room
Yep.
and, be holding the staff, his quarterstaff, at almost the very end, and kind of be, waving it out in front of him, trying to touch anything that might be invisible.
Okay. All right. What's everyone else doing? Is everyone filing into the room as well?
But
Yes.
again, preparing to
Very far.
I'll
And
give Woden a little pat on the back, guidance again. So
Okay.
that's for 1 minute. You can use it.
okay. So what I'm going to say then happens. You all come into this cabin. It's not particularly big, and Woden has decided to use the staff as an impromptu poking stick to try and get at all the corners.
Not poking, just a gentle wave.
Yeah.
Sweet.
What I'll say then is, as you're trying to poke into one of the corners, all of a sudden, a voice cries out, saying, "What are you doing here?"
Oh my god.
But we'll have to find out who it is and what happens next time on Reflex
Maybe it's
Save.
the brother.
Oh.
It could be
I
the
mean,
brother.
it could be anyone.
It could
I
be
can't
Steve.
remember which one is the brother and which one is... One's Dirth and one's Nildar. I don't know which one.
It was
Got it.
a fatal cutscene chest wounds. Those are the
That's
worst.
the only one I know.
Really? You need to hang out with different people.
Yeah, probably.
They sound like
People are less likely to give you chest wounds.
like
That's
invisible
relief.
wizards.
I'm going to have to leave all those Facebook groups. Brisbane chest wound spotters.
The chesty LaRues.
Oh my god!
Chesty.
I joined it for the loot.